Gentlemen, I'll ask you one question. In the NFL, do we apologize for winning?
No, sir. No, we
Uh,
do not.
I've seen
Next
too many
question.
people apologizing for quote unquote barely beating the Lions. But okay, I'll start the. I know I already started the podcast with a question, but I'll start with another question. Okay, say that. Would you feel any different about the Cowboys offense if Tony Pollard gets the first down on uh that 3rd and 2 from like the 5, or Noah Brown doesn't fumble the ball at the 4 yard line? Or do you walk away crying about, oh, they only put up 3 point, what was it, 3 points at halftime, or 6 points
Look,
at halftime against the Lions?
yeah, I mean, like, I definitely want more. The Noah Brown thing happened in the second half. We didn't
It
do
happened in
anything
the
in the
No,
first.
the
first.
fumble. The fumble.
The fumble, right? That
Yeah.
was
It happened
First
right
half.
before halftime.
oh,
Halftime.
all right,
Yeah.
right before halftime. But anyway, we didn't really do much. I think that was more on Kellen Moore, though. If you saw the later drives when we had Zeke pounding it into the end zone, that's what we should have been doing. That first drive when Tony Pollard was stopped twice. But that's on Kellen Moore, in my opinion. So I don't really think the outcome of those plays really changed my opinion on how I feel about how he played. I think it was just we should have had a better game plan.
I think it's. I think Kellen Moore has definitely had his fingerprints all over it with his the end arounds once again. That for some reason he just loses his mind when Dak Prescott like gets back behind the center. He's just like, all right, let me dial up these plays that I've been cooking in the lab. It's like you ain't got to make it that complicated. I mean, how many times I got to say complimentary football? Like Dak is even saying it now too. Is just stick with the run game, and then the play actions there, go from there. But I think also our O line kind of grew into the game. I thought they struggled early on with penalties and just getting like run blocking and pass blocking. Hutchinson was probably not the only guy causing havoc, but I know he only had 2 sacks, but he had the 2 noticeable plays. But I think it's just kind of how this offense just kind of grows into the game. And yeah, there's a couple of factors that worked against them early on, but in the second half, I mean, they responded with a nice touchdown drive in the third quarter, and then we know what happened in the fourth quarter.
And I don't think they were as bad as advertised as far as offensively. It was more of a just missed opportunities here and there. I mean, every single drive, I felt like they moved the ball. It wasn't a matter of maybe for like exception of like maybe one or two. But with that being said, I feel like the ball was being moved down up and down the field. It was just a matter of not converting on a 2nd and short, a 3rd and short, fumbling the ball at the goal line. Um, like you guys already touched on, maybe not calling a jet sweep, or not a jet sweep, not calling a toss when you only need 1 yard, and just little things. But goes to my earlier point at the beginning of the season. It's a matter of rhythm. So, like, obviously, you walk away from the game saying, "Oh, the Lions are the worst defense in the league." Blah 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 blah. They should have put up XYZ amount of points. However, the offense just never really got into a rhythm. And had they gotten into that rhythm, I think you would have seen them be able to put up those points, because I feel like they were able to move the ball despite them having a weird sequence in the drive that would cause them to have to punt. Like, especially after a good example is the Turpin. After the Turpin punt return, you're sitting there pretty at least in field goal range, and what was it, 3rd and 2, and you have to punt.
Yeah,
I mean, that drive ends because Terrence Steele immediately loses to Aiden Hutchinson, and Dak trips because of the pressure. And had
it's
half a hair second, Noah Brown's sitting there wide open on the spot route. So, and you're continuing that drive and not punting out of field goal range. At worst, you get a field goal in that drive. So it's just the little things every now and then, and that's why I opened up the podcast with saying you don't apologize for winning, because all that matters is did you win the game in that case.
Yeah, but I also think there's room for improvement. It's interesting. Let me tack one part of it is people say it's the Lions are the worst defense. I mean, like, no NFL game is the same as it was the week before. You're going to get a different opponent every other week, and that's just the NFL. It's kind of funny how they harp on the Lions, the worst defense, but we're not talking about the Lions only scoring 6 after a bye week and getting absolutely smoked by the Patriots. I mean, that's a great effort by the Cowboys defense. But second, oh,
Second.
my bad. I had ESPN. Well, I had another website pulled up, and they just started playing a video. But what I was trying to say was, Justin, I think it's interesting you said you didn't feel like the plays, or they only had like 2 bad drives. They had like 4 bad drives for
What do you
to
quantify
start
as
the
a bad
game.
drive?
3 and
Sorry?
out or 4 and out. They had at
Okay.
least 3 and outs, I
They had
believe,
multiple,
and
yeah.
yeah, and then I think their second drive was like a 4 or 5 play, and then they were done. So they weren't moving that well. They had a couple. I mean, they
That's
definitely left points on the
the
board with the Noah Brown fumble and the short field goal. Which I guess, how did you guys feel about the field goal? I feel like it was the right play. Get the points. Don't worry about just take points. I mean, this is how we've been operating with Cooper Rush.
yeah.
Why
I'm
change it? We all said
fine.
they should operate the same.
I'm fine with taking those points. I mean, I think like there were so many more opportunities that you could point at where we should have, done something better. So, no, that's not a point of emphasis in my opinion.
It was only 3, by the way. But at the end of the day, I felt like the opportunities were there. So like these like 3 and outs, you're getting put in 3rd and 2 at the end of the drive, and you in theory should be able to easily convert that. So that's what I mean by this is easy 3rd downs. You're not in 3rd and 10, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 12. So I don't think it's so alarming that they only put up 24 points against the Lions. It's you did what you had to do to win the game. That's all that matters.
No, I'm definitely not alarmed at all. I mean, dude, one of the best things to see was just like the zip that Dak has on the ball, and that's real generic talk, but I mean, like it was just great seeing a quarterback actually be good at quarterback. So no, I definitely know exactly what you're talking about earlier with rhythm and stuff like that. It wasn't all going to happen yesterday, on Sunday for the folks who listen another time. But no, I just think that they'll get the rhythm going much better. And so no, I definitely don't take any big thing from this one other than Kellen Moore step it up a bit.
Defensively, any thoughts on that? I think the person that stood out in particular is I think Travion Diggs. We heard all offseason about the narrative of, well, he's not a real corner. He's boom or bust. And halfway through the season with 7 games, well, technically not halfway, but we're almost at the halfway mark. And I feel like he's been even better than he was last year, despite less the amount of picks. But what are y'all's thoughts on him?
I mean, he got the pick yesterday, right? Yeah, the thing is, the Lions don't have any receivers available right now. Amon Ra got hurt. Was it the first quarter when he gets sent into the ref grabs him, is like, hey, go off the
Yeah.
sideline. So I mean, there wasn't anyone to like really show off against, but no, I think a lot of that criticism was always nonsense to begin with. And so Trevon Diggs, we talked about in past podcasts, this tackling and everything. Like he's a very good, very elite cornerback over there. So I'm real comfortable with that. Defensively, I like the Sam Williams party going on. Strips attend the game, but also a sack earlier in the game. What'd y'all think of that? The rookie getting it done.
I thought Diggs was good. I mean, you saw the highlight play, so of course there's the big splash play. But I think what do they say about like defenses or like safeties and DBs? If you don't see their name that often, then they're doing a good job because they're not even being targeted. So And yeah, I don't think he had too many like wide receiver really good matchups that were like, oh shit, he's locking down that guy. But I mean, it's been like this consistently week after week. Sam Williams, man, to see him get going, I think he had like one of the lower snap counts, but he was making plays, including what I thought was definitely going to be a flag when he suplexed the running back. But
Oh
man,
yes, yes.
he was making plays. I mean, Micah was flying all over the place. I mean, by now, I'm pretty sure everyone has kind of glossed over his hustle effort, which is kind of a little bit nauseating at this point, since everyone's just like, "Hey, I saw this play retweeted once, so let me just go ahead and give him my 2 cents on that." I was like, all right, bro, we know everybody likes hustle plays, but he also, I think that's getting forgot about that though, is that Demarcus Lawrence like made the next big play, and like for some reason we're talking about like, oh, Jamal Williams just like goofed up the ball to the Cowboys on the goal line. Nah, D Law made himself a play there too. So the D line, man, they're playing great as well. Sam Williams, the Parsons, Lawrence, and even Armstrong.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
glad. Oh, real quick, I'm glad you just touched on the Micah Parsons play right there too, because that does save a touchdown, and then it's an immediate turnover the very next play. So as much as
Yeah.
Micah Parsons is getting talked about, like it's deserved. Like that was a
Oh,
massive play in the game.
and let's take a since I didn't bring up it's been 7 games, almost 8. Obviously, you play Chicago next week, and I kind of want to pull up a big picture view before the bye. What do you think of where the Cowboys currently sit right now as far as the NFC? Are you, especially after which we'll get to later, the performance of all the other quote unquote NFC contenders? Obviously, they're 5-2 right now, third in the NFC East, but right now, at the playoffs end of the day, it would be the second wild card. What do you got? How do you guys think they stack up to the rest of the conference?
So
man,
when I you want to take it, go ahead, Ian.
I was just gonna say, man, I think it's too early to be thinking big picture right now, man. Just because of the way the Giants and the Eagles are winning. I'm not saying they're good, but we're
Well,
third in our own division
we're
at
at the
5-2.
halfway point at the season.
Man,
So
I just think you got to focus. You just got to focus on the next game ahead of you. You can't. I just feel like it's too early to be looking big picture, man. The division still has to be won.
Okay, I'll look ahead then.
thank you for
We played the
participating.
Eagles already, and I did not come away thinking the Eagles were something special. And we played the Giants already. Obviously, they're 5-1 right now. I get it, but I
Six.
don't 6-1. Sorry, but I don't believe that's something that's going to last. I'll go ahead and say that we'll finish above the Giants. I'll say it. And then the Eagles, if they keep winning, fine. But like they're not special in my eyes. We saw what they did against us, and it started hot, quote unquote. The commentators were drooling all over them, and it was nothing special. We came back with Cooper Rush in that game. I get why
So
Ian doesn't want to predict into it, but I feel confident saying that we'll finish second in the division and could potentially take that wild card right there.
well, there's 3 wild card spots. You better get a wild card
We'll take
spot.
one of them.
So right now, if the playoffs started today, you would be playing the Seattle Seahawks.
Best money. I'll take it.
So obviously, depending on, quite honestly, I know this is a little bit myopic and way too soon to be looking at it like this. However, I mean, if things are to hold up chalk like it is, would you rather play Tampa Bay in the first round, seeing that happened to them, but now that what they look right now, or would you rather play NFC West team? Basically, what I'm trying to gauge is, quite honestly, that NFC West team might be the 49ers. And we saw what happened last year with the 49ers, and we saw what happened against Tampa Bay this year. Judging by what you've seen for the past 7 games or the other 6 games that the Cowboys played, do you think halfway right now that they're ready to take that next step? Because coming up on the schedule, you have after the bye, you obviously have Chicago, who is, well, not to discount them, but But after the bye, you have two games against Minnesota and Green Bay, two teams that if we probably towards the end of the season, they'll probably more than likely be playoff teams. Do you think, based off what you saw yesterday, that that team is ready to compete with those two teams, specifically Minnesota, who is quote unquote the better team right now?
Minnesota, I'm not very confident in saying that. But like Green Bay, get them out of here. Yeah. And then if we were to play Tampa Bay in the playoffs, dude, I'll take that all day. The implosion with the old
That's
man,
that's hilarious that you're like, oh, I'd rather play
I'm
Tampa
real
Bay
comfortable with
than
that.
Minnesota, bro. Minnesota got that,
Yeah.
still got
That's
Kirk
how I'm feeling
Cousins.
though.
All right.
That's a better. No, I just think that, dude, Tampa Bay just lost to Carolina, who's selling everything. What are we talking about?
Actually, they're not based on what they just said, but I
Well,
get what you
their
mean.
actions say that they're selling their players.
Well, just one, but um, nah, I think you disrespect Minnesota's defense is old and slow, and we'll get to that when that week eventually comes. But it's funny that you have that's how you kind of view it. But Ian, what do you think so far?
I'm just gonna go to my earlier point about I mean, Chicago, the way they're playing today, man. I don't know if we can look too far ahead, just jumping after out the bye week. Let's just focus on Chicago, and then we'll worry about it down the line. The rest of the other teams. I mean, like, why are we talking about like who you want to play in the playoffs? It's like you say, not even halfway through the season.
Again, we're about halfway. I'm gonna chalk it up to halfway, but hey, that's the way you want to think. That's the way you want to think. So it's no big deal.
All right, guys, it's award season. Let's start off with one of my favorites, the Will Smith slap, which goes to the biggest surprise this week in the NFL. And for my first nomination is no surprise, the Panthers, as Wizzy says, in all sale mode, dubbing the old men Tom Brady and Mike Evans and the Buccaneers. And my second option, though, is kind of a surprise, the Ravens versus the Browns, because the Ravens somehow didn't let a fourth quarter lead go to waste and lose, even though they tried to give it up with a late fumble and Jacoby Brissett heroics. But they were bailed out by the Browns also being boo-boo. Guys, who deserves the award?
Um,
It's
I want
it's
to
Carolina.
I want to say the Ravens just because I think the Brady belongs in the next category that you're gonna
What the? This man sneaking ahead.
and plus I could you could tell me that the that Tampa Bay could fart around and lose just because it's a divisional opponent, but the fact that the Ravens had a shot to blow the game and they still didn't blow it, the 2022 Ravens, and that's just as surprising to me, in my opinion. Because if it wasn't for a phantom OPI, Marcus Peters finally gets bait is able to bait the ref into an OPI on Amari Cooper. And my favorite part about that play is all three parties on the play knew what happened because the ref didn't even signal touchdown because Amari Cooper just stops. He doesn't even celebrate. Marcus Peters immediately is getting in the ref's ear. It's not worried about a Cooper strutting into the end zone. And then the ref, like I said, doesn't even put up the touchdown signal. And they just all just start walking back towards the flag. So the Ravens didn't blow it. The refs finally called OPI. And I mean, I feel like those are the only two things that matters for that vote, but that's just me.
All right, and like I said right before, Justin was talking about the Ravens. It's the Buccaneers losing to the Panthers. Tom Brady trash. Don't get me wrong, but the Panthers. I mean, come on. They go ahead and take this award home in my eyes.
Damn, that is a compelling argument, Weezy, with come on. But I'll have to decide the vote and say the Ravens not blowing the lead, despite fumbling it.
You.
I got to say, it deserves a better award. So I'll give it to the Ravens. All right, next up. the Liz Truss Papers, which is the award that goes to the player that probably deserves to get his marching orders and resign. Candidate number one is Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington football team, highlighted by at the very end of the play, the man is face down just on the field, not even wanting to get up or be helped up or anything. He's had enough. And B, news today that Bum Ellinger will now be taking the place of Matt Ryan, which is the definition of a man getting his marching papers or marching orders and being sat on the bench.
All right,
Fellas, who deserves it?
before me and Rudy make our pitches, I'll throw Rudy a bone on this. Here, let's play last week's clip.
I know you're giving those two quarterbacks some credit that normally don't get credit, but I'm going to transition here to two quarterbacks who normally get all the praise who need to be buried. And they both wear the same number, both old men. I'm talking about Aaron and Tom. Boy. Justin, now which one do you want me to use? Pull the plug or Old Yeller? Same thing.
I mean,
both of them.
Both. Both
God!
Still got some life in them. They just might have to.
They have enough life to energize Twitter for another week or two, but not enough life to actually do something.
Rudy, I'll let you throw the grave. I'll let you throw dirt on the old man's grave this week if Washington pulls it out. But I'm still going with the Packers. So, Rudy. I allowed you. I told you if those two old men were to lose last week, Brady and Rodgers, that you can bury them. So do you still have the desire to start digging the grave?
Oh, with glee. Where is my shovel? Dude, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. 45-year-old he's halfway in the grave already, just based off that. But no, this is exactly what I expected of them. They are washed up. Their team, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Rodgers hit a few receivers in the hands and they dropped it. But if I'm giving someone their papers, their marching orders here, it's going to be a write-in vote for Tom Brady. This guy, get him out of here, man. 3 points against Carolina? What are we doing? And Matt Ryan, he got his marching orders. He earned them, and well, he's gone, so I'm not gonna, go at him too hard. Aaron's still playing, so he'll give me more content in future weeks, I assume. Justin,
so what you're saying is Wheezy though. What you're saying, Wheezy, is that Matt Ryan is already buried, so you don't want to.
I don't need to do anything.
To use. Yeah, you gotta put that shovel to use. You can't use it to him. You gotta move it on.
Why am I gonna bury a guy with 0 Super Bowl rings?
He's gotta find room in the cemetery for the other old men first.
Yeah, he's got a tombstone.
Those other old men have been put on pedestals, and I gotta bash the pedestal at this moment. Matt Ryan still gets 28-3 jokes. I don't need to do anything to him.
I'll go ahead and place my vote for Matt Ryan just because two other people are going to be getting their papers at the end of this season as well. If I know how this Sam Ellinger experience is going to go, and that's the GM and the head coach. So Matt Ryan, I mean, they earned their own papers, but I think it deserves the victory just because them putting in their faith and Matt Ryan was the final straw and it got 3 people, quote unquote, fired today.
That's hilarious.
All right. Finally,
well,
the last award is Matt Ryan, because that dude literally got his marching orders. So, I mean, that's the definition of the award.
Okay.
Moving on to the last award I have is the Rainbow Fentanyl Attack Ad, aka Yellow Journalism, and I got to give this one up to just the AFC West in general for somehow pushing the agenda that they were going to be the toughest division to deal with, the most splash with all these elite quarterbacks in the game. But both the Broncos and the Chargers fall to lesser opponents, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But they both fell in dramatic fashion at home, in spectacular fashion at home, to the Broncos lost to the Jets, and the Chargers to the Seahawks.
You're not gonna cut the
So
Broncos
which
any
one
slack.
fell worse?
You're not gonna cut the
Hmm?
Broncos any slack with no Russell Wilson.
No, because Las Vegas didn't cut them any slack. I think the point when Russell Wilson was announced he wasn't playing, like the point moved like from half a point. It's just a half a point difference. So no, I ain't gonna cut them slack.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that the Broncos are the most disappointing, and they should be. Dude, the way and you were talking about the way the NFC West, they got all this credit, this media hype, and dude, it was like disgusting. They gave Russell how many primetime games already? They gave just because he signed there. We heard the hype about Justin Herbert. I still like the guy, but dude, they were acting like that team was primed to go to the Super Bowl. No, they're getting what they deserve, so it's fantastic to see, low key. But I'll go ahead and say the Broncos were because, dude, you didn't have to deal with Russell's antics. You had a chance.
I'll go with the Broncos just because it's the Chargers. This is who they are. I could have. Well, I'm gonna tell you that I've been banging the drum. This is who Russell Wilson is for the past 2 years. So, however, the rest of the world hadn't caught up yet, and people
But
still
they're catching up.
telling the narrative that if he just figures it out, gets help back healthy, they could no. They're done. They're done. At least the Chargers are gonna make the playoffs. The Broncos, oucha.
Yeah, I think we already have a winner, but the Chargers are 4-3, so they at least have a winning record. The Broncos are 2-5, I believe, and they still had a chance to win without Russell Wilson. So yeah, the Broncos with the clean sweep for the last award.
All right. Now it's time for the weekly pick'ems. But right before we get to the upcoming games, Ian, why don't you let us know how we're doing?
All right, boys. Technically, we all improved from last week, so that is the one positive take from this. But the standings are looking kind of familiar. There is a trend going on week after week in the pick'ems. So I'm sure we all know who's pulling up the rear once again is Mr. RG3 himself.
Oh, God.
Mr. Tortilla, Wheezy Breezy, not making it look easy. Wheezy Garrow finishing 7-7 for this
Jesus.
last week. And so, like I said, the trend continues. Justin, above average, finishing at 9-5, an impressive 9-5, but not as impressive as yours truly finishing with 10-4. So, Weezy, you definitely have some ground to make up.
Sky's the limit for me.
Yeah. You're 3 games behind Justin and 6 games behind me, but
Oh my goodness.
we are technically not halfway there, so you still got a chance to make it up. Back to you.
Yep. And now it's time to make up ground. Week 8 football games. We're going to start with Thursday Night Football, where the Ravens are going to travel to Tampa Bay, taking on the leaderless Buccaneers. Fellas, who's going to win?
I guess Bezos, because they finally got their money's worth with this one. It's going to be entertaining at the very least. It may not be a good game, but it'll be entertaining. I'll say that. But I will say I'll go Baltimore.
I can't go against my boy Lamar. Give me the fighting Lamar Jacksons.
It'll be a clean sweep, Baltimore for me.
Weezy's already
moving
got the
on.
shovel for that pick.
We've got Sunday. The Buccaneers are going to be traveling. Oh, this is a out of the country game. It's at 8:30. Where's this one?
What?
at?
Hold on.
It's not Buccaneers, guy.
Didn't you just say the
Oh,
Buccaneers?
did I say the
are playing
Buccaneers? I'm sorry. I
Ravens?
meant Broncos.
This is a London game.
Broncos. This is a London game? All right.
Yeah.
We got the
London's
Broncos.
London's other team.
And the Jaguars traveling to London. Fellas, who's going to win this one?
Jacksonville?
I too am that certain about who's gonna win. Give me the home team, I guess.
London's team,
Yeah,
the Jags,
Jacksonville. Jacksonville
As I
for
said,
me.
yeah.
Moving on, we've got the Tuas taking on the Goffs in Detroit. Fellas, what you got?
Detroit done bit me too many times, so I'll go with the speedboats, aka the
This
Dolphins, aka Jalen Waddle, aka Tyreek Hill.
this team can't and won't, as what's his face said, Dan Campbell said. So give me the Dolphins.
Again, clean sweep, Dolphins for me. Moving on, we've got the Panthers taking on the Falcons. Who you got?
Where is this game?
This one is in Atlanta.
Give me the Falcons.
Um, there's something brewing out in Carolina. You got rid of all the
No,
bad apples. Baker, uh,
he's still there.
Christian McCaffrey, uh,
Notorious bad apple Christian McCaffrey.
the wide receiver. I can't remember the pencil,
Robbie Anderson.
and then the Baylor bum himself. So give me the Panthers and BJ.
Yeah, the Falcons are going to go ahead and take that one. So I'll say the Falcons. Moving on, we've got the Cardinals traveling to Minnesota, taking on the Vikings. Who you got?
Minnesota.
You're so unsure today.
Give me Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm not taking Kyler there. Give me Minnesota. It's at noon too, so that's when Kirk shines. Moving on, we've got the Bears taking on the Cowboys in Dallas, where Ian thinks it'll be a tight one. Who you got?
The Bears did, to his point, the Bears just, I mean, I think the game just ended, but they put up 33 and made everyone's little boy Zappy look like what he is.
Unhappy.
Oh my. Get this man out of here.
Cut.
But
I'm done.
give me the Cowboys nonetheless.
Ian?
Yeah, give me damn boys.
Yeah, Cowboys for me. Moving on. We've got Vegas traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Fellas, who you got in that one?
Give me New Orleans, I suppose.
I gotta go with Raiders.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders as well. Now we got a matchup of two teams who were once one team. The Steelers are traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Fellas, who's gonna win this one?
You fell for that propaganda of the Steagles, Rudy.
The Steagles?
Yeah. Right.
Who's winning?
Philadelphia, unfortunately.
The Battle of Pennsylvania. I guess I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles as well. Moving on, we've got the Patriots traveling to New Jersey to take on the Jets. Fellas, who's going to win that one?
You know, considering that the entire offense just went on IR today, I'm tempted
Who
to
else
take
got
the
hurt?
Patriots. Brees Hall.
Other than him, who else?
Oh,
No,
is
that's
that
why.
is that who
That's
you
why
mean
I
as
said
the entire offense?
offense. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah, I was
also
gonna say that's
Vera
actually pretty accurate.
But also Vera Tucker, the starting. I think he's the right guard, but he's pretty good as well. He also done for the season, but I think the Jets defense is pretty salty. So give me the Jets. JETS Jets. Sorry.
I mean, Bill Belichick hates the AFC East, but I don't know if his hatred, especially the Jets, can conjure a victory, especially after what I just witnessed at home against Chicago. And I know the Jets' entire offense is gone with Brees Hall gone, but that defense is salty, so I'll take the Jets. I basically just repeated what you just said, Justin.
Yeah, y'all are both wrong though, because the Patriots are gonna win this one.
This is why you're at the bottom of the polls.
Nope, this is how you make up ground. And
By betting on Zappy.
you're betting on the no Brees Hall Jets. Get out of here. Moving on. Titans traveling to Houston, taking on the Texans. Who you got?
Do we need to acknowledge AFC South games?
No, I really think we don't. I mean, last week, this week, the week before. I mean,
you said
they're the Bears.
Dude, the Titans just
Big
made
bucket.
Matt Ryan retire, so
they
give 'em a little
lost.
credit.
Oh no, they won. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
no, yeah, they won.
That's my bad.
What are you talking about, guy?
They both look the same to me, but give me the Titans, I suppose.
Yeah, Titans.
This is where I make up ground, baby. Texans. Write it down. Moving on. We've got the Giants taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. Who you got?
Okay, finally, I think this is the offense that does it, that is able to put up enough points. Give me Seattle.
I will take the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, with this being in Seattle, I'm going to go ahead and say the Seahawks are going to get this one done as well. Moving on, in the battle for Carson Wentz, the Commanders take on the Colts.
He ain't playing, unfortunately.
For neither team.
He's ducking the op.
Where is this game?
This one is in Indianapolis.
Will the man ride with the bum?
No, we're going with the Commanders. That's why. My disdain.
Then why'd you
for
even
Tom,
ask? Like, if you're not going to take Ellen, you're at home.
my disdain for Tom Herman runs through and through,
Ian?
even to the pros.
Yeah, give me Washington, man.
Yeah, Washington for me as well. Moving on, we've got the Niners traveling to LA to take on the Rams. Who you got?
How are they already playing again?
Well, we're not making this mistake.
It feels
again.
like they play every
It's-
week, if I'm being
It's
honest.
the 49ers because McVay don't know how to play versus
That's true.
your boy Flat Bill. So
The pinhead.
yeah, Shanahan.
Ian?
Give me the Niners.
Yeah, clean sweep there. Niners for me as well. Moving on, we've got the Packers taking on the Bills. Should be pretty easy there.
Oh, that's the Sunday night game.
Hold
That
on,
is
I think
the Sunday night.
I think there's an interesting caveat to this game. Rudy, do you know what the opening line is right now?
I do not.
I believe I heard correctly. It's Bills minus 11. And you know how I feel about double digit lines when it comes to the NFL.
I got to be honest. I don't think the Packers will cover.
There's no way they lose by more than 11 points. There's no way.
Ooh.
Dude, old man barely gets it done. When he does, the receivers don't catch it.
Old man's in prime time.
Nothing.
Old man knows what he's doing. He gonna find a way, bro. He not dead yet. So I'm not saying they're gonna win, but they're gonna cover. That's for sure. They're gonna cover for sure.
It'll be interesting.
All y'all out there,
as far as
that want some free money, you heard it here first. Take the Packers, the cover.
And as far as the pick'ems for the
Oh,
podcast,
Bills, but
all
Yeah, give
right,
me the Bills.
Bills for me. Uh, and then finally, Monday Night Football, we're going to finish with the Battle of Ohio, where the Bengals travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns.
they put this. They gave them Monday
Who
night.
do y'all
Why?
have?
Uh, ew. The Bengals.
Yeah, give me the Bengals.
Uh, yeah, I'll take the Bengals. That'll close it out.
Woo!
Anything else?
Nah.